Welcome to our channel. Today we bring you the list of the top 10 haunted places in the world. From a paranormal pub in Britain to a ghostly castle in France, these possessed destinations are guaranteed to spook even the most skeptical of travelers. Any of the world's most visited locations offer us a more in-depth insight at ancient civilization's heritage. From Chateau de Bruxelles in France, allegedly inhabited by a young woman who was assumed to be buried alive on the premises, to Morgan House in India, suspected to still be plagued by the haunting trapped wife who once lived there. These sites are home not only to suspected spirits, but also to stories passed down for decades or even centuries. Here are some of the world's most haunted, once opulent ex-residences. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the bell to be notified of new content. Number 10 is Pizziglia Island, Italy. This tiny island was a spot where mainlanders escaped to seek shelter from invaders in the Venice Lagoon between Venice and Lido. Venetians afflicted with the bubonic plague were brought here to die in the 14th century and burned on giant piers as they died. During the 1800s, the site was also used as a mental hospital where patients were abused and played with. Tell a resident and they'll tell you that the island is full of ghosts and plagued with mischievous spirits. Voices and cries are often heard, and tourists have mentioned seeing dim figures flickering. Many tourists suggest as soon as they walk on the island, they start getting an overwhelming evil feeling. While almost auctioned off to an outsider, the island remains entirely deserted and off-limits to most tourists. Even if you were allowed to go to the island, it would be difficult to find someone willing to take you, as many locals are not going to step on Pizziglia for fear of being cursed, and fishermen are refusing to fish in the area, afraid that they would drag human remains. Number 9 is Banff Springs Hotel, Alberta, Canada. The Banff Springs Hotel in Alberta, Canada, modeled after a Scottish baronial castle, is one of Canada's great railway hotels and is allegedly one of the country's most haunted houses. And former bellman Sam McCauley, who worked in the hotel during the 1960s and 70s, always liked to help visitors get up to their apartments, dressed in his uniform from the 1960s. If you want to tip or talk with him, he will vanish. Now part of the luxury hotel's Fairmont chain, the Banff Springs, also known as the Castle in the Rockies, remains a landmark in the city of Banff, Alberta, and remains a popular year-round destination. While known as America's most haunted house, the Plantation is now a nice bed and breakfast, offering 12 accommodations. Ghost tours are run from the site, and you can choose between regular tours or spookier tours, and evening tours that are popular. And soon a new on-site restaurant will offer guests modern local cuisine. Number 8 is Hellfire Club, Montpelier Hill, Ireland. The Hellfire Club was a hunting lodge founded in 1925 for Irish parliamentarian Speaker William Connolly. The building stones came from ancient passage tombs. The devil, who first connected the site with the occult, is said to have offended. The lodge was allegedly becoming a meeting spot for a select group of leaders from Dublin who gathered for debauchery and devil worship. The ruins are located on top of Montpelier Park, at the foot of the Dublin Mountains. The Hellfire Club is a famous stopover point in the Dublin Hills on a walking path. There are also ghost tours to the site, with additional tours scheduled for Halloween week. Number 7 is Castle of Good Hope, South Africa, Cape Town. The Castle of Good Hope was built in the 17th century by the Dutch East India Company and is the oldest building in South Africa. Some mysterious incidents, like the bell sounding on its own while in the bell tower and the appearance of a black dog pouncing on unsuspecting tourists before literally disappearing through thin air. Possibly one of the best preserved buildings in the 17th century, the castle is now a renowned tourist destination with 3 prestigious museums, a monument to Cristo, the Khoi Nation's leader, and a chance to learn more about the mysterious past of the castle on a guided tour. You can also eat in the front courtyard restaurant and observe the main ceremony and the shooting of cannons. Number 6 is Ancient Ram Inn, Gloucestershire, England. The inn was built in 1145 and was used by priests who kept slaves and laborers there to help build the Church of St. Mary. Placed in the lower edge of Watton, it is placed on 2 law lines, sites known to have Stonehenge sacred powers. It was also claimed to be the site of an infant sacrifice and devil worship. It is commonly believed that the redirection of water to the property of the ancient ram triggered the creation of a door for dark magic, implying that many spirits visit the inn. A woman burned at the stake in the 1500s is said to haunt the witch's place since she was accused of being a witch. Despite being well regarded as one of the most haunted locations in the world, appearing on TV shows such as Most Haunted and Ghost Stories, in the recent past the inn has changed hands many times, making it impossible for the owners to trace, yet the inn hosts numerous paranormal activities. Number 5 is Dragsholm Slot, Denmark. Originally built in 1215, Dragsholm Slot, or Dragsholm Castle, makes it one of Denmark's oldest castles and probably the most haunted castle in all of Europe. Sections of it were used in the 16th and 17th centuries to hold inmates of noble or ecclesiastical status, and it was restored in Baroque style in 1694. The castle is believed to be home to at least 100 ghosts, including the Earl of Bothwell, Mary Queen of Scots' husband, who died at the castle as a prisoner too. You can also see the White Lady walking through the rooms, whose skeleton was discovered in 1930 by builders embedded in a wall. The castle has been converted into a luxury hotel with lavish rooms and a restaurant, known as Michelin, serving local cuisine. The hotel provides its own guided tour detailing the building's past, but requires a genuinely frightening experience. Book a ghost tour with a 2-night stay, a trip showcasing the gourmet restaurant's spooky inhabitants and diner. Number 4 is Myrtles Plantation, USA. The Myrtles Plantation House is located in the remote town of St. Francisville, northwest of New Orleans, covered by a 125-foot veranda. The stained glass front door leads into a foyer with a massive French crystal chandelier on view. With 10 people murdered in the house itself, there have been so many recorded ghost sightings, the most famous of which is Chloe, which had her ear cut off by her boyfriend. It's no joke. She wears a green turban, watching guests closely as they're in bed and even posing in a photograph. A more recent photo also shows another little girl, referred to as Ghost Girl, peering through the house glass. Number 3 is Benjaja Fort, Rajasthan, India. Benjaja Fort, the remains of a fort town founded in the 17th century, consist of fort walls, bazaars, havelis, royal palaces, and various temples, with 3 wide floors that you can visit. But don't be fooled by the charm of these ruins, as they are ranked as India's most haunted castle. A sorcerer named Sanghya and a princess named Ratnavati who spurned his advances. Legend has it that as she threw it out, the magical oil he thought would help her love turns him into a rock and it killed him. Yet it did not curse the palace until condemning the occupants to death. Without the chance of rebirth, Benjaja Fort is now an archaeological site known as the Ghost Home. A guide can be hired who can take you around the place and send you the specifics of its mysterious history. Be sure to come at daytime, as the fort is locked down between dusk and dawn, with locals assured that anyone who spends the night in the ruins will never be seen again. Number 2 is Monte Cristo Homestead, New South Wales, Australia. A late Victorian house designed in 1876 by wealthy landowner Christopher William Crawley with elaborate cast iron lattice work. Remarkably, the most haunted house in Australia. Take a pick. There's the little girl dropping down the steps, the woman jumping from the balcony, or the stable boy burning to death. However, the most involved is the caretaker's son's ghost, who was found curled up next to his mother's dead body and locked up for 40 years. Today, the house serves as a B&B, offering dinner followed by a ghost tour where you can hear more about its gruesome history. Those who dare can spend the night at the haunted house. Number 1 is Chateau de Bruxelles, Maine-et-Loire, France. Dubbed as the Loire Valley Monster, this is France's tallest castle with 7 floors, 204 rooms, various galleries of portraits, and a private opera house that seats 200 spectators. It was a fortification built in the 11th century by the Counts of Anjou and fell by King Louis XIII in 1620. The most involved is La Dame Verte, Green Lady, who was supposedly King Charles VII's illegitimate child and was later assassinated in the 15th century by her husband in the chateau after he caught her having an affair. The chateau is a renowned hotel that holds special activities from its own vineyards, such as a Christmas market and tastings of the well-respected wines. Guests bold enough to stay overnight will enjoy rooms lavishly furnished with period furniture. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and comment down below which place is most haunted in the world. Haunted